unnecessary intro song to totally waste your time.
So, if I pay you, will you do anything I want? You know, if you're on a job or something. If I say, okay, I'll pay you to stick this fork in your eye, will you do it? Probably not. Even if you promise to, you probably won't do it. It's because you're American. Americans don't do anything they're told. I haven't had a job for a long time. Last time I had a job was 1993 because I'm not employable. I can't work for anybody. I don't like being told what to do. I don't even like it when people give me suggestions. Even if their suggestions are things that I'd want to do anyway. Like, I'm insubordinate even when I'm the boss. You know, I rebel against myself. That's how unemployable I am. You know, and I get that I'm different than a lot of people. I see a lot of people that are really good at working for others, but not really, you know. For example, you're probably farting off right now, listening to this and using Facebook or Twitter while you're supposed to be doing your job and taking a paycheck while you're on the clock, you know. Can you imagine how far American productivity has fallen since social media? I can't even, it's almost unfathomable to me how many hours are spent farting around on social media while people are on the clock getting paid. I'm getting to something here. I see people sending out shrieking alarms about donors, the donor class. Oh, the donor class. Watch out. Trump took money from this person or that person. Therefore, he's owned by them. And I'm like, okay. So first of all, there's a couple of problems here. You know, because I like to try to relate things with my life. What's my experience? What do I see? Do I see people that are owned by people? And I think, not really. I see most people trying to get away with doing as little as possible for their employer. And quite frankly, I think a lot of people, including myself, simply resent being paid. You know? It's like we can't even be grateful that we're being paid. We actively resent it. You know? And you see this all around you, people, again, on Instagram, farting around, not doing their job, getting paid. But I imagine that most people spend, what's a generous number? I think it's generous to say they spend 10% of their working hours actually completing jobs. The rest of the time is procrastinating, doing other things, taking meetings, just anything they can do to avoid doing the thing that they're paid to do. Right? But somehow if somebody writes a check, a donation to a political person, that automatically means that person taking the check is going to do exactly what the donor wants them to do. I'm like, boy, we live in different universes, because if somebody gives me money, they're not getting much back. And not only that, but when they give me money, it's an endorsement for what I've already done. They're paying me to do what I've already done. They're not paying me to change. If they do, they're stupid. But if somebody donates to you, you should assume that they want you to do what you've been doing. At least that's what I would do, because I'm, a narcissist or something? But no, Trump, there's a secret version. And here's the way I'm trying to figure this out. I can't look at the world through my own eyes. This sounds stupid, I know. But I get that not everybody's the same. I'm fiercely independent, genetically so. Well, I shouldn't say that, because people in my family aren't so independent. But for whatever reason, I just can't do what I'm told. I'm always rebelling. And so I project that onto the world, and I see other people are like that. Maybe it's totally not true, but I just haven't experienced anybody. Like when you pay people to come and do a service at your house, to mow your lawn, you kind of project, they won't, if you're watching them, they'll do it better. But if you leave them alone, it's the whole idea of like, never pay somebody by the hour, because if you do, they'll take forever. Because the incentive there is to go slowly and keep cashing that check. The better alternative is to say, I'll give you X amount of dollars to do this task. When the task is done, I'll give you either the rest of your money or all of your money. That's how you get something done right and quickly. So here's the big disconnect with why people, I can't understand why people think that, first of all, everybody is going to do exactly as they're told upon receiving a donation. That doesn't compute with my experience in my life. In my experience, nobody does what they're supposed to do, even when they're contracted to do something. They still don't do what they're told to do. In fact, they rebel. But me, maybe that's me projecting onto the world, because that's what I do. But the disconnect where I think that people see that in Trump is I go, okay, so in your world, you're not a consistent person. So you're projecting onto Trump a secret Trump because there's a secret you. And this is what I see in the world. People will private message me, oh, XYZ, I agree with this and that and blah, blah, blah. Well, why don't you post about it? Oh, I can't. I'll lose my job. I can't do this. I can't do that. Oh, I get it. So there's two versions of you. There's private message you, and then there's public you. See, I don't have that. Private message Merkley and public Merkley are the same fucking guy. Except for in public, you'll see that I'm grinning all the time, which I don't like. So that's what I think is happening. I think people are projecting. They think everybody has a liar as their public image, because they do. Because they're not courageous. Not you, of course. You're listening to this. You're listening to me. You know me. That means you're great. But most people, they're phony. They have private thoughts that they never express because they're afraid. They're cowards. And so they project that onto Trump, who to me doesn't show any signs of said cowardice. Trump does what he wants to do. He'll take the bank's money. He'll do this. He negotiates. He always goes in from a power position that he's going to get what he wants. He drives a hard bargain, but then ultimately he settles somewhere. I don't know, not in the middle, but so that the other person feels like they got a deal. He's not I don't see any evidence that he's this guy that says something publicly and then does some secret other thing. I mean, even the grab him by the pussy thing, oh, but that was private. Yeah, have you listened to him on Howard Stern? That was consistent with the audience, with the environment. And the environment is you're trying to get in good with the guy that's interviewing you for a TV show. And you speak according to what's allowed on that show. If you're allowed to say dirty things, like on Stern, he does. Because that's what the show allows. But if you're on Good Morning America with some little short, what was that guy's name? And you know that kind of language isn't allowed, you're probably going to have that kind of discussion when the cameras are off. Not groundbreaking discussion either. Totally normal, everybody gets it thing. That if you're a rich, powerful dude, women will line up to be grabbed by the... They will. They'll shove it in your face. Please grab it, sir. So yeah, that's the disconnect. The donors aren't owners. De-owners. Donors. See, that would be a little clever thing somebody would do to prove their point. De-owners. The donors are de-owners. Except for then you have to put a W in there, and then it becomes downers. The donors are downers. Down syndrome. They're dumb for giving their money, thinking they're going to get something for it. And don't get me wrong, there are people that are like that. And there are probably lots of deals that are semi-contractual. You know, if you give me this money, I will do this thing, but I won't tell the public that I'm doing it. I'm sure that has happened. But you have to look at the person's personality. What is the personality? Is the person, I'm doing my own thing no matter what? Or I'm going to do whatever you tell me? Yeah, I just don't know any of the I'm going to do whatever you tell me people. I mean, I say that, but then I think I'm surrounded by people in San Francisco that wore masks. They're still wearing masks. They jabbed needles in their arm because they were afraid of some invisible bug in the air. I mean, there are total idiots, but you know what I mean? That's still kind of different because those people in that situation are scared to death and they're idiots and they're virtue signaling and they have power and they're part of the winning team and it's their chance to yell and scream and tell people what to do and get all emotional. That's different than just taking some money. That's the weird part, is these people that I will do exactly what you tell me to do if you scare me the right way, are the same people who fart around at work and do nothing productive and in fact undermine the company. Well, you're a racist if you tell me what to do. You're a racist if you don't give me a week off. You're a racist if you don't let me work at home. You're a sexist, glass ceiling, blah, blah, blah. They're always trying to get one over on management, sue the company. So, you know what I mean? It still holds true. You can scare them to death and they'll do whatever you say if they think they might get the sniffles. And if they do get the sniffles, you say, that's those sniffles there, that's, well, I'm afraid to say incurable. You're not going to make it through. Okay, I'll wear the mask. But even then, again, it's more that they just want to yell and scream and pass that authority down. They want the permission to be the boss. And in their mind, the boss is evil, so they behave evilly when they have the authority. I don't know. Use your eyeballs. A donation doesn't mean somebody's owned. And you're dumb to not take it. Let me tell you something. People go, Trump, he got money from AIPAC, or he got money from Adelson, or some Jewish guy, and that means he's now Jewish. It's like, okay, so a Jewish person hands you $100, and now suddenly you're working for Jews? That doesn't make any sense. It's stupid. In fact, if you don't like the other team, one of the greatest things in the world would be taking their money and doing whatever the fuck you want to with it. As if that option doesn't exist. And to me, that's the kind of guy Trump is. He will take your money and then do what he wants to with it. He'll manage it the way he wants. Are you like that? I'm like that. There's no amount of money you can give me. In fact, it's probably a bad idea for you to give me money. Because then I'll resent you slightly. And I'll think, I don't want this person to think they own me. And I'll do all these different things to make that very clear, that you don't own me. Anyway, that's enough of that. Thanks for listening.